Hello everybody and welcome to a modern video. Today I'm going to be playing the deck list, or at least very close to the deck list that I'm going to be playing in the showcase this upcoming weekend. By the time this video goes up, I will probably be playing in the showcase actually, and I'm going to be playing either this exact deck list that you see in front of me, or I was thinking about cutting a Cavern of Souls from the sideboard and putting it in the main, just like registering 4 main deck Cavern of Souls, cutting Lair of the Hydra instead. So that's the only potential change that I'm thinking about, but I think that this is where I want to be for this weekend. This is the 75 that I think I'm excited about. By the way, when I do that, I will probably be adding either the third Boseiju to the sideboard or something like that. So we'll see. I'm still a little bit on the fence about it. But basically, yeah, Lair of the Hydra has been basically pretty relevant in my experience so far. So this could basically be everything else. The stuff that I did like about this deck list though, full 10 bounce lands. This deck list is nice because it has 11 untapped green sources, which allow us to cast Grace turn 1, which is very good, of course, in a very Ragavan heavy metagame. We also have access to Crumbling Vestige. I think that, Vestige, the same way as the extra bounce lands, they allow you to have turn 3 Karn more often, which is kind of what we're trying to do. I'm very low on Cultivator Colossus. I'm only playing a singleton copy in the sideboard. The card has been really clunky for me. It has basically felt like a mulligan every single time I've drawn it, especially except actually of the 4-color matchup. That's where you want to have access to the card because you actually have the time to set it up, and you get to resolve your Titan, maybe resolve a second Titan, and then after that you go get your Colossus and you kind of go a little bit over the top. But without a way to set things up, Cultivator Colossus only does anything at all in very specific scenarios. Like if you have, like double Amulet, Azusa going on, and then, that allows you to have a very powerful Cultivator Colossus turn. But unless that's the case specifically, then my experience has been that it's just like a 7 mana 5/5, because by the time it can come down, you are just out of, you need to play your lands to cast it. And in order to do that, you just don't have lands in hand on the contrary. So it's very awkward. While Karn has been pretty solid and has been bridging the gap, also it gives us outs to otherwise problematic matchups, like for example Yawgmoth, or stuff like, random things like Belcher or Upsol spells, random things like that. Even against decks like Living End, I'd much rather be on the Karn side of things, because we can, pay for mana for Karn and then just Stormward Crypt and kind of call it a day. So this is the decklist that I'm going to be trying out in this league. Again, the only potential change would be Cavern of Souls for the Lair in the main deck. But yeah, if you were enjoying the content, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Always appreciate your comments in the comment section below as well. And if you're interested in supporting my content, you can do so through Patreon. You can make donations and I can play any decklist of your choosing, or you can also sign up for coaching as well. All the information is in the description of the video down below. Without further ado, let's play some Magic. Alright, what do we got here? So we can go turn 1 Amulet. If we find a bounce land, we're looking really good. If we don't, we're not looking too. But this is a turn 3 Dryad into very likely to find a turn 4 Titan. I think this is good enough. If we didn't have the Amulet, I would ship this, but, it's everything. Rift Bolt, enter the revealed card zones. Alright, so here's my Amulet. Here go, Fer. If we find a bounce land, I think we're going to win very easily. If we don't, it's going to be a little bit closer, but I think we're still favored. That's no good, though. It's probably going to Boros Charm me here. Helix, that's better for us than Boros. Also, no, Eidolon is kind of good. Okay, so here's a Dryad. I'm going to play a Cavern Giant and say go. So, down 11. This is down to 8. And I guess that if he has a bunch of 1-drops, we're dead. But Eidolon is a dead draw. That means we don't die here. It's gonna use both our land drops though. So 1. I think we can assemble lethal here. This is scripted, right? Like this we just have to do. So we're gonna cast Primetime. And I think we're gonna do Bounce Land, Stronghold. Yeah, so Bounce Land, Stronghold. Then we're gonna do We need to leave this Stronghold in play because we're going to copy it with Vesuva. So bounce this. Go to combat. This is 10 damage. Valakut Vesuva. Copy Bounce Land. I think we're going to be... like 3 damage short. This is stand down to 6. Yeah, we're going to be 3 damage short. Ugh, that's so sad. That is so sad. Because now we can go green. And yeah, we're just 1 land drop short. Okay. Let's see if Fair top decks the burn spell. Any burn spell does it, but they can also top deck Swift Spear, they can top deck a bunch of other cards. That's a really good fetch, by the way. The upkeep fetch is great there. Here, gonna go to 1, and now clear the deck a little bit. It enables Searing Blaze too, which is good. And they didn't get there. Woof! Close, super close. Radiant Fountain makes this matchup a breeze now. Want to cut the Karns. I want to bring in Engineered Explosives. I guess Force of Vigor. Cavernous Souls. And I think I'm going to be bringing in just a Walking Ballista. Yeah, as you can see, like this, we're not really respecting the burn matchup with this deck list. Burn is not what I'm trying to beat, really. But yeah, let's see how this goes. All right, what do we got here? We got turn 1 Bounce Land. We got turn 1 Amulet, and we have Bounce Land. We also have a Titan, and we have Boseiju to kill either Eidolon or the other thing, the other enchantment. So that's kind of nice. I think I'm keeping this, but it needs some work. Like, it's not as an upkeep. It's definitely like on the lower end of keepable hints. Gobbo. Literally the best possible draw. Hell yeah. Let's play T-West. So now I can transmute if I want to. This coming turn. Skewer the critics. Dude, critics are so broken. So yeah, so we're gonna go Amulet into Growth Chamber. We're gonna transmit for a second Pact. And this is going to allow us to like Pact for Asusa if we want to. Could have Smash, yeah. Okay, Ursa Saga. I can Dryad. Riftbolt has been suspended. So I can Pact for Dryad here, play both Sagas, and I'm not gonna expose the Expedition map. Seems good to me. Even if the Dryad dies, it doesn't really matter. The Dryad blocks the Gobbo, so it effectively gains life. We have Boseiju if we want it, and that's actually just lethal. Okay. Game 3. That Smash the Smithereens was very good. That Smash the Smithereens ended up being really good. I could bring in another Force, but as you can see, like I'm not super excited about Force as a card because of like the situations like the ones that just happened. There's also the possibility that maybe I should have transmuted for Ballista, but Ballista doesn't really progress my game plan, and I don't have a route to Titan on the following turn without Dryad anyway. So I'd rather just play the Dryad following turn. I can pay for Pact. I have 3 landers, so I can make a construct if I want to. Well, this hand is actually quite strong, so we're gonna keep this one. So we're gonna go turn 1 Saga, turn 2 Lair, Explore, Cavern, and then turn 3 kill you. I guess we can't kill them because we drew the Garrison, but it's still a good draw. Still quite a strong draw. I guess what we can do is we can haste using... because we can float a colorless from the Saga, we can haste using Valakut, which is interesting. I'm probably interested in doing that. Golden Guide. By the way, I think this is just correct. I feel like a lot of people like have the thought that the burn player is supposed to cut all of the Karn Giant here. That you're supposed to cut the creatures against Amulet. I don't agree with that at all. I actually think that one of the best ways for the burn deck to actually get there against Amulet is precisely by trying to get ahead and kind of cheese the Amulet player out. I feel like if you're bringing in cards like Path to Exile or things like that, you're actively hurting your win percentage, in my opinion. Just gonna bounce this Cavern, I guess. Play this. Besuva. Stronghold. Haste Primetime. Bounce here. Combat. Attack. Just gonna get... I mean, I could get Radiant Fountain, but I think I'd rather just set up another Titan. I could just go T-West Fountain. I guess I have another Titan in hand. Never mind. Yeah, I totally forgot that this was my draw for turn. So, I guess I can get Valakut to play around. I'm gonna get Valakut. This is gonna be to play around Deflecting Palm. Not that Deflecting Palm does too much when I'm at 17. I guess opponent's looking for... And now that they tapped out for Palm, I'm not gonna go for Summoner's Pact. I'm just gonna go for a second Titan, so you know I don't get owned by Path to Exile. But yeah, there were matchups obviously very good. It has always been. It will probably always be. All right, buckle up for a long one because we're gonna be playing against Yorion this time around. This hand I think it's quite good, so we're gonna keep it. The sequencing is gonna be interesting because I can go turn 1 Lair into Saga. Then second turn, I can play Amulet. I could also go turn 1. I think I want to go turn 1 Lair into Amulet. This is worse against Prismatic Ending, but this gives me like better lines for the following turn, and it holds the Grazer so I can actually net mana in a future turn. If my opponent has exactly Prismatic Ending, then we get owned here, which is exactly what they do. Yep, 40 cards, by the way. I'm gonna pass the turn. I may need to just go find Amulet. I could have, you know, played a bounce land and off the Grazer, and that sets up a turn 3 Yasusa or Dryad. I think it's super punished. Oh my god, so punished. Okay, just pass the turn. So we're just gonna find... If my opponent has a Teferi, I'm just gonna flip the table. The Teferi bounce my Saga. And I'm just going to flip the table, straight up. So what I'm gonna be able to do next turn is we can go Dryad, Asusa into Dryad. Actually, I can't do that. I can Asusa into Karn, which is not bad. Opponent holding up counter magic. Okay, so... They're holding up counter spell, so I can slam this Asusa. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. That clears the way for Karn, which is kind of nice. They do have... Okay, so let's Grazer, and I'm going to play Cavern on Giant. Maybe I should have just played an uncounterable Asusa and then play the Dryad. My opponent counters the Dryad instead. It's close. Next turn I can slam a Karn. Probably minus for Needle. I could also Dryad. I could also just attack Red and 6. Also, we're playing 1 Asusa this game. In this list. So Asusa is out of the table now. They don't even plus... Not even plus Ren? Okay. So I'm not going to attack with the Lair. I think I'm just going to play Karn. And we can minus for... Minus for second Amulet is actually really sexy. Let's do that. I totally forgot that we had second Amulet in exile, but that works out beautifully. Now if my opponent bolts the Karn, I don't really care. Gonna Omnath here, which is quite strong. What am I minusing this Karn for? I have to imagine that my opponent's just gonna play a Yorion. Sky Sovereign is almost good. Just almost good. Iteration. Okay, so my opponent's just looking for... They're just aggressively looking for Prismatic Ending, I guess. It's quite interesting. That's not a bad draw at all. So, here's 4 mana. Here is a Dryad. I have Mendic Subtlety? There's no way they have Mendic Subtlety. So my opponent's a little bit more playing control-ish, I guess. I think... Yeah, we're just gonna slam a Titan here, and I'm just gonna pact for another one. I think I want to bounce the bounce. Now the question is, do I want to haste? Or how do I want to haste? I think I want to get Valakut. If I get Valakut plus... No, I need to get a bounce land. So, yeah, I'm just gonna get Valakut plus bounce land. Growth Chamber. Yeah, so it took a little bit, but I think... Like, I'm gonna play around 1 Solitude, I guess. Probably not worth playing around more. I could pack for another Titan. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. What this does, it allows me to... It forces the issue on the Dryad. I think I kind of like that. I can't haste it, but I can force the issue on it, which is pretty nice. At this point, I don't think my opponent has force nor subtlety. If they do, they got me real good. They could also have 2, what's his name here? 1 here, 1 here, and 2 here. So now if they have Solitude, okay, so there's one of the Solitudes. So now that's gonna kill the Dryad, I assume, okay? Which means that at least one of the Titans is gonna be able to attack. And as long as one of the Titans is able to attack, I don't lose to my pacts. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. I just need any 2 green sources. Close this. Move to combat. Ren, attack them. Okay, so we do have enough green sources, which is nice. So we get Bojukibog, Seiju. And let's get 2 green sources here. I can get 2 bounce lands. Sanctuary Turf. Bounce. I guess I'm gonna bounce Haste Land and Vesuva. Ice Fang is not death touchy. Ren is gonna die here. We can also go get Walking Ballista. We can pay for both pacts. Ren down, opponent down at 9. Let's look at our sideboard over here. What can we get? We can Explosives for 4. That's hilarious. I kind of want to do that. Kills my own Karn, which allows them to draw a card though. So I guess I'm not super stoked about it. But I unfortunately cannot get rid of the Somnath. Which is going to mean a lot of mana for my opponent. Could just minus for... I guess I'm just going to minus for coding? No, that's terrible. Minus for coding is just bad. But this card is probably going to die regardless because my opponent can kill it thanks to the fetch land. Yeah, I guess I'm just going to Explosives for 4. Red, green, white, black. But if I don't kill the Omnath, the Karn is dead anyway because my opponent can use this fetch land they have sitting here. It means that they get to draw a card with Bubble, though they forgot. I wonder if they have a Wrath. Maybe they have main deck Supreme Verdict. Like, obviously that would be terrible for me, but don't think there's too much I can do about that. I think my opponent got a little bit hasty there when they Solituded the Dryad. Maybe they didn't. Maybe just like they needed their board state to be able to win this game. I may have messed up when I sent one of the Titans to Ren and 6. The problem is that I assumed that I was going to get got by another Solitude, but they just only had the one. Pack it in. All right. So 4 color. We like Cavernous Souls. We like Cultivator Colossus. This is the matchup for Cultivator. We can cut 1 Grazer. And Bujukibog is randomly serviceable. It's our worst land though. Yeah, I think it's just our worst land. This looks fine to me. I don't think I care about Endurance. I don't think I care about those kind of cards. If I had Tracker, I would bring in Tracker for sure, but I don't. His hand needs a bounce land really badly, but I think I'm gonna keep it because it has a very solid plan. And if I do find a bounce land, which I have 10 looks at, Vesuva acts as a second bounce land, so that's almost Titan mana. There's an argument for shipping this though. There's definitely an argument for shipping this. Opponent bubble tricks and finds a basic. Very strong. Alright. Here's an amulet. I'm only playing out this amulet because we drew, because it's the second amulet. If I only had one amulet, I would not be playing it out because of prismatic ending. Bounce. It's not a bounce land. What do I want to copy? I guess I just want to copy my opponent's basic. So, really want to find that bounce land. If we do, I think we're probably pretty heavy favorites. But if I don't find it quickly-ish, we're probably going to fall a little bit too far behind. Any bounce land will do. Even Boros Garrison will be. You can work with Boros Garrison. The Fairy don't care about too much here. Oh, they put Yorion to hand. Okay. Chalice for 0. Sure. Bounce land. Alright. Pass the turn. This represents more mana if I do find a bounce land, so I'm gonna keep it in hand. Interesting that it did bring in Chalice. Another ending. Hey, there we go. So here's a Grazer. Play this. Bounce this. Play this. Copy this. Bounce this. Oh, we already played a land drop. Okay. So next turn we can play Karn just plus on Chalice probably. Omnath. A little bit worrisome. Just a little bit worrisome. Okay, so now that we drew that, we probably just have to go Dryad and we just set up for Titan mana next turn. So now we have Titan here. I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to slam it yet because my opponent showed me Counterspell last game. So if I don't... Oh, interesting. Just to kill the Dryad? Oh, it enables Traverse. That's kind of sexy, actually. So if they have... what's his name? We just lose. If they have Magus. Fetch Wooded Foothills. Okay. Okay. That's Yorion mana. One card in hand. One card in hand. Is it Counterspell? Countersouls. Please. Cavern. Sadness. If they do, they don't have counter. Alright, so I think I want to make sure I have the most amount of mana. So I think I want a Cavern of Souls on Dryad and get a bounce land. Yeah, I think so. So Cavern, gonna name Bird. Then we're gonna bounce it and we're gonna replay it on Dryad. And that's because I personally like to name Dryad. I could also name Nymph. It's actually pretty funny, but you know, this is the paper versions of Dryad don't have the type Dryad. It was added afterwards, so I find it very funny. So I always name Dryad. The Fairy. Bounce my prime time. Oh, bounce their own thing. That makes a lot of sense. It's much better. No fetch land is huge. No fetch land is huge, huge, huge. So Yorion can serve. That's fine. I can take 4. I'm saving this Grazer to protect this Karn if I need to. Okay. So let's start here. See what my opponent does. Go to combat. If they have Solitude, they have to use it here. They don't. I'm just gonna go face, I guess. Also, I tapped wrong. I should have tapped the Suva. This is fine though. Oh, yes, always healed. I wonder if my opponent has like Ephemerate and stuff. I'd be surprised if they do, but maybe they do. Boseiju my Dryad. Okay. We have not played our land drop just yet. So I think I want to bounce the Growth Chamber. That's 6 damage. Play my Amulet. Here's Karn. Plus on Chalice. Then I'm float some mana. Bounce this. Pact for Dryad. Play Dryad. Copy Valakut. Send this at Omnath. Yes. Pass. Okay, so now if my opponent does have, what's his name, we're screwed, like if they do have Magus. But if they had Magus, they would have fetched it when they could with Traverse. So I don't think they have Magus in their deck. If they have been Juvading me all of this time, mad respect. Just mad props. You got me a real good opponent if that's the case. But next turn we can set up a Colossus turn, which is very nice. But we have so much stuff going on here. Like they have to answer my Primetime, they have to answer my Dryad as well. Dryad threatens a lot. Karn also threatens a lot. Karn threatens Walking Ballista, just a huge ballista. So it's kind of Magus or bust here. I don't really know what my opponent could have. Like Solitude Ephemerate, but I don't like they're playing the Traverse version, so I don't think they're really playing Ephemerate. Alright, looks like opponent did not have it, and we end up taking the match. Feels good to beat for color, but yeah, Chalice plan. Yeah, just one of the many reasons why I love this card. Alright, so I think I'm gonna keep this hand. It's very interesting. If I were playing the Colossus version, this would either be a Colossus or it would be an Explorer. If it would be a Colossus, you can see how much worse this hand would be. But turns out we're playing against Springleaf Drum anyway. I'm assuming Hammer. But yeah, turn 1 Gracer allows us to play defensively very nicely. It is Hammer. Okay. So let's go turn 1 Gracer, and I think now that I drew a Vestige, I think I'm going to play out the Cavern here instead of the Bounce Land. I'm going to name Giant, because we're not going to be able to play... unless we do an Amulet, we're not going to be able to play Karn anyways, and here we have the nice thing of we get to hold the Bounce Land, so if we draw an Amulet, it just holds up so much value for us. Alright. Well, am I blocking here? I guess my opponent has 2 cards in hand and I could just lose the game here, so I guess I'm blocking. I'm not stoked about blocking. Like, I'd rather hold onto the Chomper, but... So, here's a Gracer. I play Turf, and I think we just play Growth Chamber as well. Sorry, Sanctuary. So next turn we can go land into Karn. We're probably gonna have to chump once again, which is a little bit awkward. Again, because we're just dead if my opponent does have the thing, which means that we can't protect the Karn, which sucks a little bit. The good thing, however, is that my opponent has no more cards, and now we can just plus on the Hammer, which is obviously great. So plus on the Colossus Hammer, now it becomes a 1/1. Play a land and say go. If they find Hammer, they can kill Karn, but that means that they have nothing else going on. And if they don't find Hammer, we just win the game. So that's cool. Gracer is a beast. That's literally what it is. Gracer is actually literally a beast. Alright. Obviously Amulet was... I mean, it was better than not drawing it. Like, it wasn't a crazy draw. Like, it's not that we needed it, right? Like, we're just gonna go with explosives. We're just gonna minus Karn for explosives. Explosives from 1. My opponent can never win anymore. So that was the play anyways. But sure, like, the fact that we did draw it, it just made things even easier. So definitely cut Fountain at Bojuku Bog. That's a great starting point. Give me those forces. Inject them directly into my veins. Karn is obviously fantastic in this matchup. I think I'm gonna be cutting 1 Explore. Huh. Do I want this member? I don't think I do. Just don't think I do. I think I want to cut a land, and I think it's gonna be Toleraria West. I think that's my worst land. So, yeah, let's go with this. Game 2. This hand is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. It gets owned by March though. It has that problem. I think it's fine. Like it's worth running the risk of losing to March. Please don't have it. They don't have it. They may have Spell Pierce, but looks like they don't. Opponent plays their own Saga. And then what? Stoneforge Mystic. Okay, so now we can draw. We can go Dryad. I could Karn if I wanted to actually. I can go Gracer into Karn when it has Caldra. Okay. So I guess I'm just going to go Dryad, Valak, and say go. And we set up for next turn. And next turn we're just going to have double Amulet with Dryad and Gracer. Do many things. Opponent could March the Saga, which would be slightly annoying. Mana Leak really is the card that I'm the most concerned about. I wonder if I should be bringing in Cavern of Souls from the sideboard for game 2. It's not super likely that my opponent's bringing in Mana Leak, but if they are, like, again, I can just play around it. Okay, so they just have the Caldra. No blocks. Take 5. What does he got, opponent? Just nothing. Alright, float green mana. They know about the Growth Chamber. Path to exile my Dryad. Oh no. Very weird timing on that. Like they just gave me green mana for no reason. I'll take it. They're super dead here. So we can just double Titan. There's no way my opponent's playing Solitude. I guess this is the correct play regardless. Just Boseiju bounce land, I guess. Float, float, float. This is just garbage time, right? One is just struggling to find the concede button. Haste there. Haste over there too. Are we done here? Looks like not, I guess. Sanctuary. Vesuva. Float mana. Float mana. This. Like this just doesn't matter. It's garbage time. I'm just, you know, grabbing lands at random. Alright, 3-0. Okay, what do we got here? It's an interesting hand, but it's just... I feel like if these were Dryad, maybe I could see myself keeping this. It's just a little bit too clunky. I think we can do much better on 6. Awkward. Down to 5 we go. So as a 5-card hand, I'm gonna keep this. I'm not stoked about it, but it is what it is. Where can we go with this hand? We can bottom Vesuva. We can bottom Valakut. Ugh, all my options suck. All my options suck. I'm gonna bottom map Valakut, I think, and just hope that we get there. Gonna name Beast here. I was gonna make... I always want to make the joke of like naming human or like merfolk, but the truth of the matter, if I draw a Gracer, I would very much like to play it there. So can't do the meme bluff. Another Hammer Gamer. Ugh. I may be pacting for Dryad here, actually. I may be pacting for Dryad. So I packed... Okay, so my opponent, they don't play a threat here. Dryad. Interesting. So I go packed for Dryad. They can't attack me. Following turn, I pay for pact. Following turn, they kill me. So that doesn't work. If I play Saga this turn, I play Saga this turn. Next turn, I make a construct that can chump block. But they're gonna have the trample thing. I think I'm still supposed to go for Dryad. Following turn we pay for pact. Well, but then I'm just using the Dryad to chump block. So I think we just play Saga and say go. Because otherwise we would just be using the Dryad to chump. We could pact for Azusa. Play Azusa, play Growth Chamber, pay for pact. Like we're still in the same spot. So it's not great. So that's obviously quite bad for us. Gonna name Giant here. There you go. And I guess if they find Shadow Spear, I die. Well, that's weird. What's my opponent playing around? It's game 1. Like, I don't understand what they're playing around here. Like, why wouldn't they hammer on end step? Very strange. Very strange. I mean, better for me, of course, because now I can just, you know, chump block here. I guess they can just have land, hammer anyway, and find Shadow Spear, yeah. So Shadow Spear is gonna go into the Paladin, which makes things pretty awkward for me, really, because now, yeah, so now chump blocking doesn't make sense, so I'm just gonna take it. Because if I draw Karn, I can Karn, and we know about that one, but we can, you know, like Karn plus. So, although I guess we would Karn EE anyways. Definitely Karn EE. If they have second hammer, we just lose. They don't. Okay. That's good for me. Okay. So make a construct here. We're gonna untap. We're gonna see what we draw. Hopefully another Amulet. Boseiju. Boseiju is very interesting. Boseiju is super interesting. So now we get to prime time. The problem is we get to prime time We get Valakut Bounce Land. We find Dryad, but we only have 5 lands in play. Ugh. Because the Saga destroys itself. That's a big problem. Might as well make it uncounterable. We're still gonna bounce this thing here. I guess my opponent does not know about the Boseiju, so I can just attack and blow up the Colossus in combat. Yeah, that sounds good to me. So, Stronghold. Don't have any bucks to pay for just yet. Haste here. We can also just go get another Boseiju. They don't have another hammer, otherwise I would be dead. So that's good. And I guess that's kind of an argument for blowing up the Shadow Spear instead. Huh. This is very interesting. So, bounce here. Boseiju. Yeah, so I guess I have to find Growth Chamber Boseiju. And then we bounce something else. And then I'm going to have to Pact for Dryad to hold up second Boseiju. Pact for Gracer. Just slightly awkward. And I think that the right play is to blow up the hammer as opposed to blowing up the construct, because then my opponent otherwise moves the hammer around anyway. Very convoluted turn we ended up with here. So now if they doesn't block, well, that's just great for me. If they do block, then it's going to be pretty interesting what the rest of my opponent's hands looks like. We still have the construct to chump block the Pure Steel Paladin, which is very nice. Tight game. Really tight game. Opponent does not block? Wow. That's wild to me. So if I Pact for Dryad, for Gracer, we still have 3 mana next turn. I can Pact for a Dryad. Yeah, that sounds good to me. So Summoner's Pact. They may have Spell Pierce, I guess. Maybe that's why they block like this. Ha, they do have Spell Pierce. It's pretty funny. We're not gonna pay. And then we're gonna Pact for Gracer. Alright, Grazy boy. It's your time to shine, my friend. Your time to shine. So this makes it pretty hard for my opponent to kill me now. We only have to pay for one of the pacts because the other one was countered. We still have Tolari West. And we have double Boseiju here. Stoneforge is good. Stoneforge is good. Another hammer. Ink Moth. Well, we have Gracer for Ink Moth, so we don't care. So if my opponent flashes in hammer, I guess I just blow up Sigarda Sade. And now the hammer will not equip. They still get to draw a card. They still get to draw a card. And now we're gonna kill the Shadow Spear. Kind of a crazy game. And now they can't move hammer around because the Paladin dies. Pretty sweet game. Pretty sweet game. This was a multi 5. This was actually a multi 5. They have another Paladin. Unfortunately. That doesn't actually matter. You can have all the hammers they want. Caldra is a little bit more annoying. Okay, so we're gonna pay for Pact using our Vesuva here. See what we draw. Gracer is a pretty decent draw. Okay, so opponent can't put Caldra into play. So play Garrison. Actually, was this a mistake? Think for a second. So we attack. We get Valakut and another Growth Chamber. Valakut and Growth Chamber. My opponent could definitely have another Spell Pierce, by the way. So we swing for 6. Valakut is another Growth Chamber. We are going to have 3 mana, so we untap. We go to second main, spend 3 mana to transmute. We Pact, and I think we should be fine. I think we can do this through Spell Pierce, if I'm not mistaken. So Valakut, Growth Chamber. I needs to be Growth Chamber because we need to transmute. Valakut, Growth Chamber. I guess I shouldn't have played this out. I just didn't have to. And I shouldn't have played that out. That was a mistake. I was still gonna need the mana, I guess. No, I didn't need the mana. So I basically just wasted 2 Valakut triggers for no reason. I'm gonna kill the Stoneforges so my opponent can't put Caldra into play. And then I guess we have 2 Gracers so we can chump Construct and Ink Moth if my opponent finds a way to equip. Wait, what? Why are we doing that? Well, now I'm just extremely confused. How are they gonna use Caldra? I don't get it. I don't get it. I guess I don't have to get it either, so at least there's that. So Transmute for Dryad. I guess we're packed. Packed for Dryad. My opponent's spell pierces, we pay, we don't care. Dryad Affiliation Grove. 1, 2, 3. Valakut. So I used my land drop for no reason, so that makes things a little bit awkward. So now I guess I just have to go face. Of course, there's just no better place to go. The thing is, I'm gonna have 2 chump blockers, so Giant and send this to face. So I think this is good, if I'm not mistaken. We can pay for Pact, no problem. Opponent can get a construct, they can get an equipment, like it doesn't matter. Because, oh, I guess it does matter. No, it doesn't, because they don't have Stoneforge, so they can't put Caldra into play. Like, they can't play Caldra and have a way to equip, basically. So, yeah, those chump blocks, I mean, we had the Stoneforges covered anyway, so it didn't really matter. But those Stoneforge chump blocks make no sense to me. I don't think my opponent, yeah, I don't think they can assemble lethal through my board. Wow, we just got there. Sweet. All right, same sideboarding that we did before. They're playing blue, so maybe I'm interested in the 4th Cavern. We'll see. Definitely want the Forces and cut 1 Explore. Cut 1 Tolaria West. And now that we're adding the 4th Cavern, we may want to cut 1 extra land. Maybe Sunhome? No, I'm probably gonna need to erase. So Sunhome, I don't think it's a great idea. I just don't think I bring in the Cavern. My opponent could have Mana Leak again. Like, that's what makes me think that I may want that, but just don't think that's what's up. Yeah, let's go with this. Oh baby. Oh baby. Well, if we find any untapped land, this hand is the nuts. This hand is the absolute nuts. Sure, I'm feeling lucky. I'm feeling lucky. We may just have to pass turn 1. But if we don't, though, whew, it's gonna be fire. I guess I actually don't want F6. This Percentile sucks for us. Land. No. Gonna discard Celestia Sanctuary. Yeah, this is not great, folks. Maybe you should have maybe you should have shipped this one. My opponent could have Spell Pierce. If they do, I probably just concede here. But I think that I'd rather I do have Spell Pierce. It still like taps them out, I guess. And I can still find an untapped land. Oh, they had Mana Leak. They had Mana Leak and they couldn't cast it because I did it with Trigger on the stack. Feels good, man. Feels good, man. It wasn't even the best. Nice. Oof. That's hot. It wasn't even the best, what's his name ever. It wasn't even the best Force of Vigor ever because my opponent drew a card out of it, but so it was 2 for 3 on my detriment. So they're holding up Mana Leak over there. I guess that's fine. This is Mana Leak worthy. They have to leak this. Weird, like my opponent kept a hand that's sort of playing a control game, but I don't think that's what you want to do against Amulet. You just want to try to raise. Like if we're playing the control game, I think I am the better control deck than they are. Yeah, so here's the Mana Leak, and I'm just gonna pass the turn here. I'm not gonna play the bounce land. It's worth more in my hand because I have the Dryad. Putting out 1 card in hand. Is it the Hammer? Looks like it is. It is, yeah. All right. So we go to 9. Lair of the Hydra. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I guess, is we're going to play a chump blocker, and then next turn we play Karn and Plasm Colossus. Stoneforge. That's lethal. Okay. Good draw from opponent. It was just obviously I kept for the memes. Like obviously I should have mulliganed the no-lander, but it was fun though. We had a nice little sweat. This hand's fantastic. Yeah, keep it. So turn 1 Amulet. Turn 2 we have 3 mana, 4/5. Ugh, so close. We still keep this hand, and I still think it's a good hand. I still think it's fine. Okay, so turn 1 Amulet, play around Mana Leak very nicely. Pass the turn. By the way, my opponent, knowing that my opponent has Mana Leak, gives me an extra incentive to want to do what I was talking about earlier. So next turn we have 4, 5, 6, yeah. So I'm just gonna pass the turn, and then next turn we're just gonna play 2 Grazers and cast it prime time. Unless my opponent's holding up mana, in which case I'm just gonna pass the turn. Lavinia. That's just not a card that should be in my opponent's deck. That's very unlucky though. That's very, very unlucky. Green, bounce land. I think I want to hold on to the bounce in hand. Or I could bounce Vestige. I think I kind of like the idea of maximizing mana here. Green, play prime time. We can't haste unfortunately because we're very unlucky. So I guess I'm gonna go for bounce Boseiju. It's probably better than bounce Delirious West with my opponent have a living in play. Bathing Needle. So that's gonna name Boseiju, which is kind of rough actually. Yeah, I think that resolves. So it names Boseiju, which is really awkward for me, but at least it means that, like, if I blow up the Cigar, let's say my opponent flashes in Hammer in response, I'm still facing a 12/12 Lavinia, but I also gave them a mana, so it's even worse for me. Now I'm probably going to have to attack, and I'm going to have to threaten double strike, which is pretty awkward. No attacks. Azusa. What does Azusa do for me? Nothing really. I'm just going to play her out because I'm gonna bounce the Growth Chamber. Swing with prime time, and we're gonna get Sunhome Garrison. So this threatens double strike. So if my opponent suits up the Lavinia, we double strike and we trade. Yeah, look at how much worse it would have been if I had Boseiju, the Cigar, let's say. Oh, they just didn't block. Whoops. Well, I fucked that up. I definitely wanted to double strike there. Like, I missed out on 6 points of damage. I misclicked. I thought that we were in, like, going into declare blockers, but my opponent had already declared blockers. Okay. That's really good. That is real fucking good. That's a really, really good draw. Like, really, really good. Bounce, replay. So I think we just double strike now, and I bounce this and then play. And now what this does is allows me to hard cast through like a Mana Leak or something. So I think this is game. Swing with prime time. And now we can actually just go for T-West Saga. T-West Valakut would have been another option. Alright, time to do stuff, opponent. 1, 2, 3, 4. Force a Vigor. And if they flash in another Hammer in response, I Boseiju it. So I think this is locked up. Maybe the thing that makes the creature indestructible? That's fine. Hammer resolves. It equips. Things get blown up. Gets channeled. Boseiju for 1 mana, baby. Woo! Legendary creature. Let's go. Opponent fails to find. Love it. Sweet. 4-0. Alright. Last one. Last round. Let's see if I can finally get a 5-0 this season. Goddamn. Yeah, we're keeping this hand. So this hand can go turn 1 Amulet of the Saga. Turn 2 Expedition Map of the Lair. Turn 3 Fetch an Amulet. Play Karn. Or if I can just find a bounce land like an absolute champion that I am. There's an argument for playing the map there because I don't care if it gets prismatic ending, but my opponent did not show me, they didn't show me like Yorion or something like that, so I don't really know if I should assume my opponent has prismatic ending going on. I mean, now they probably do 5 color of Draco. Oh boy. I wonder if this has to be the Calibrated Blast deck, right? People love that meme deck. Maybe I should have played Vestige and made a construct there. Just in case. No, okay, it is the Calibrated Blast deck. Just in case that it is not the stupid, and it is like a Kabu deck, like a something Kabu. Okay, so I'm a little bigger. We're just gonna play and haste the Primeval Titan. Hope that it's good enough. Hope that they whiff on their silly combo. This is such a bad play. Reveal Throes of Chaos. Alright, they did whiff on their silly combo. They should have waited until I hasted the prime time, and that's when they can Calibrated Blast. So here my opponent threw the game, which is good for me, because I don't think this is a particularly great matchup. So Garrison Stronghold. To be fair, I also don't think that my opponent's deck is, I think it's just a meme. It's a meme that hosts 4 color. That's what it is. So it is a meme with a purpose. It is a meme with a purpose, which makes it a respectable meme. So now we have Vesua plus Sunhome, and our opponent is gonna be dead. So, all right. I don't think we have any cyber cards at all for this matchup. I guess I want Endurances. Endurances block Draco. I do want Fountain. I do think that Endurance blocks Draco and it gets rid of their silly card. Same reason why I want Bujuki Bog. I don't want the Tulare-West. I don't think that we're gonna be grinding in this matchup because they don't have interaction. So if I do resolve a Titan and they can't kill it, I think we just win. I think I'd rather have Endurance than I license hers. Besides that, I think I'd rather have all of my other cards than any of my sideboard cards. So maybe I should be cutting Karn. Who knows? So turn 1 Amulet, turn 2 Pact for Azusa, turn 3 Primeval Titan. Okay. I'm assuming my opponent has no interaction. But I have to be honest, I'm not familiar with the latest 75 of the Calibrated Blast deck. You know what I'm saying? I've not done my homework, and I'm not up to date with the latest meme deck technology. So unfortunately, I'm just not playing around anything, right? We're just not playing around anything at all. We can play around removal very nicely, which is cool. So there's that, which is nice. So Summoner's Pact for Azusa, cast Azusa, play 2 basics. They just pack it in for no reason. Okay, good to know. All right, finally got a 5-0 this season. It's kind of a miracle at this point. But I did like this list. I think that for tomorrow, Lair of the Hydra, like I've given Lair of the Hydra like so many opportunities and it has yet to do anything at all. So I think that for tomorrow, I'm just going to go with the 4 Cavern main deck, and I'm just going to play an extra Boseiju in the sideboard. I think that's going to be my strategy. I definitely want to have 2 lands in the sideboard, so it's either the 3rd Boseiju or a Castle Garenbrig, or I don't think I want Lair in the sideboard. I think I'd rather have a Garenbrig than Lair. But yeah, this list is again, like, it's what I recommend. It's what I'm going to be playing. So I obviously believe this deck list to be solid, and it is. I think that it lines up fairly well against the metagame. So I think that you can't do too badly with this list, and obviously you can just 5-0 like I just did. So obviously the list is perfect. Don't even make a change. But yeah, no, for sure. 2nd Dismember for hers would be another interesting potential idea. But yeah, but this is kind of what I'm at. I think this is going to be my 75 for tomorrow's event. At the day of the recording, at least. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And I'll see you in the next video, folks. Take care, and bye-bye.